Hi guys, this is Express Yourself 2024. My name is Lucia.
Brian.
Chanda.
Nikki, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you being here. So there's so many opinions out there of different topics, and so that's what we wanted to do is to kind of just have fun with this. We just wanted to make sure that we got our opinions across, and if any of you out there have opinions yourself, please mark them in the comment boxes. Let's be respectful of all of us. We're not looking for who's right, who's wrong. It's just an opinion. All right, so today's topic is dating. Dating of before, dating now, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We are going to touch base on online dating as that's a huge topic nowadays. Three of us, Chanda, myself, and Brian, have experience with online dating. That's how Brian and I met. So let's go on ahead and start. Nikki's the only one who has not had online dating.
Right.
Okay, so dating. Let's first talk about this. Dating in the past, what was it like before online dating for all of us?
You guys go first.
Brian, dating in the past. How did you meet your people that you dated in the past?
You actually seen someone that you're attracted to and went up and introduced yourself and got to know them that way. Asked them out, got their number, and then met for dinner or whatever later. And you weren't considered a creeper if you went up to someone in a grocery store and told them that you would like to get to know them. But nowadays, if you meet somebody in a grocery store or out, they consider you to be a creeper.
Like
I was gonna say your circle was a lot smaller.
nowadays or before?
Before, who you went to church or who you went to work with or who you went to school with, those were probably your primary ways of meeting people.
Like you knew
So
them.
like you're the smaller circle to choose from.
You knew them before you went out with them. You knew what they looked like, and a lot of times, and we're talking about it in the past, as opposed to now, the differences of dating. So before, and a lot of times, your friends hooked you up. Your family had somebody that they thought enough of you and of them to set you up.
In actuality, your circle hasn't gotten smaller. We just got used to online dating and someone introduced us, so now it's a lazy way of dating rather than to go up and actually meet somebody. Because people still go to church, they still go to the grocery store, they still go out and about, they still run errands, but you won't go up and talk to a person because it's considered not the norm now. So you'd rather meet somebody online rather than actually see the person in person and actually like them and say, hey, I like that person, let me meet them. So your circle hasn't gotten smaller. We just got used to online dating.
Okay, so Nikki's the youngest of the bunch. I bet you can all tell that. So Nikki, how did you meet people?
Through school or through friends or at work.
School, friends, work. Right, that's how I met everybody. You knew what they looked like. You probably have heard of them. You saw them in the hallway. Now, a lot of people would say, due to COVID-19, that a lot of us have, including myself, have worked remotely. So I don't really know a lot of people outside of work, and the people that I do know at work, they're behind a computer. So it's not like I can go out to dinner with them. It's not like I even know what they look like. So a lot of people will say, well, COVID's made us antisocial. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Brian, what do you think?
It made us antisocial to an extent. It made people who wanted to be antisocial.
Like if you were that way before?
Right.
It made it not be
It just
weird
enhanced
anymore.
it.
It used to be weird if you were a loner and always wanted to be by yourself and didn't want to socialize with people. And now it's accepted because of COVID, and we went through all of that. Now that behavior is not labeled.
So it's
As-
normal now.
Right, it's not labeled as a weird. If you want to isolate yourself, it's accepted. Whereas I think before you were labeled as not normal if you wanted to spend a lot of time by yourself and not be in a social circle with people.
we've gotten to a point, I think, because of people working from home or school online schools. It's gotten to the point where we really are much more comfortable going. Heaven forbid we go to the grocery store by ourselves or go to the grocery store to shop. I see so many. It's becoming more and more popular. I call it the drive-through mentality, where instead of going into the restaurant, instead of going into the grocery store to shop, whatever, they even have online church.
They
Yeah,
They
especially with,
broadcast it, yeah.
especially with COVID. COVID during that time, they only had online church, and they've adopted. I mean, now that it's like
My
less
church
of that.
still does that. Yeah, they
Yeah,
still do it.
so like they have less of that now, but they still have that. So like you may go to church and hear it live, but you can also hear it
Watch
off of your computer.
What?
Yeah. So I think what Chanda was saying is right, and what Brian was saying. If you were that way before, it's just made it much more easier for you to be that way now in terms of being a hermit. But people, it's as if people don't know how to act with each other anymore, and that's the same thing with online dating. So speaking of online dating, Nikki is the only one who hasn't had experience.
What's
She's
it like?
just so young.
You stop it.
I never did.
Okay, so she wants to know what it's like. All right, Brian. Brian and I, we met through an app.
Correct.
And we talked. That's how we met. Chanda, I'm divorced, never been married. So, I met my ex through friends. You met your ex
At work.
at work. You
Oh
met
yeah,
your
mine was at work.
at work.
Mhm.
Well, that's what we were just talking about. A lot. This was a while ago for all of us. At
Yeah.
work, that's how we met people.
In the 90s.
Yeah, that's how we met people. Yeah. Nowadays, and so Nikki asks, "What is online dating like?" It's a little freaky, and the perverts who are perverts feel much more comfortable in coming out.
And being very, here it is.
Here I am, people. Yeah.
So when you're online dating, when is enough enough? Because there's so many people to choose from, and I'm sure for a lot of people, they'll think, well, I'm just going to keep going until I find a certain one, and then they find that one, then they keep going to the next, to the next, to the next.
You're talking about serial daters?
Serial daters.
What?
So when is enough enough? When do you say this is the person for me? Let's work it out and see what happens.
I think it's hard about the guys. I think from my experience, you say you want a long-term relationship, and then you go on 1 or 2 dates, and they don't really want a long-term relationship.
But then you have women also that are on there. They're just on there. Okay, I want to go to eat. I want a free meal. I want this. So it's men and women saying what they're on there for, but then in reality,
They want
it's
something
something
else.
else.
I thought online dating was like for just hookups.
No,
Well,
It can be.
she's not wrong.
right? It can,
She's not wrong
but you can
because
have long-term.
Tinder is one of the most popular apps out there. It's for both. It's ways to meet women meeting women, men meeting men, women meeting men, and men meeting women, right? So you can find anything on there. You've got to be specific on what you want. But so Tinder has a reputation of being a hookup site, and it still has the reputation. I think with recent experiences, I think they're trying to get away from their reputation, and they're trying to become more of just meeting good people. I mean, you can meet good people anywhere. Just what are you looking for, and what are your intentions? What sucks is that a lot of people. Can I say sucks? What sucks is that a lot of people really take it for they have an agenda, which is I'm going to pretend to be what you want me to be. For example, let's say a woman or a man, they're looking for an LTR. a long-term relationship,
Which
right?
is not a hookup.
Which is not a hookup. And I've grown to hate LTRs, or whenever a man says looking for an LTR. In my mind, I'm like, no, you're not.
Just say that.
But
You're
how
just saying that.
But how can you say he's not telling the truth?
He may be telling the truth, and this is why it ruins it for everybody. He may be telling the truth, but again, I can only talk about my experiences and what I've heard from others, like Chanda, like Brian, and friends, or even when you read comments. A lot of people, men and women, they pretend until it's like you made a comment the other day that I loved, Brian. You had a quote the other day, which is, I wrote it down. A man is only your friend until he gets some. That's what Brian said. So
She threw right under the bus.
I threw him right under
That's
the
okay,
bus.
because it's true. Men and women cannot be platonic friends. A man is only a friend until he gets sex from you. Why would a man choose a woman to be his friend when he can have a male friend?
That sounds like it could be a topic for
And
another
for-
day, but we
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And for women,
Oh,
and
deep
for
breath.
women who say that they can be friends with a man, no, you cannot. But women believe that. But a man knows that you can't. And I don't think women are that naive to think that they can be friends, go out and have drinks with a man and dinner, because bad decisions are made when you involve alcohol and opposite sex.
I think you're right. If
Especially when you're
I think
attracted to that person. Because you wouldn't go to dinner with that person if you weren't attracted to them.
I think you're right if you're talking about people over 40 mature adults meeting and then trying to be platonic friends. I think you're right.
No,
But like
it doesn't
maybe
work.
if you're like in high school or
he
college,
thinks nothing works.
Nothing
He thinks
works.
I
nothing
think
works.
if you're high school or college and you're a boy and a girl, you could be platonic
No.
friends
No.
because it started from such a young, early, innocent
No.
age.
No.
I think it could.
That's a good question. At what
Man.
age does it become like
Yeah.
like let's say, Brian, you're in third
Yeah.
grade. You don't have
Right.
Come
Right.
on.
I think if you
So
know
at
each other
what
from
age in your
childhood,
mind? So at what age in your mind does it become? Okay, I can't.
13.
what? Why? It could be.
13.
He's
So
saying
you're
puberty.
thinking
He's saying puberty. and
Puberty. So
adolescence.
you're saying puberty. You're saying that boys. We're talking about boys because
Yeah.
it was him that brought it up.
Mhm.
Boys in let's say 13. That's what
7th, 8th grade.
7th or 8th grade,
Right.
9th grade, whatever. You're saying that those boys don't have intentions on having female friends because they're looking at them romantically and
Yes.
only romantically.
Yes. Because he could go play basketball with another 13-year-old boy. He could go camping with another 13-year-old boy. Why would he want to be friends with a girl that he likes? Why? It makes no sense. Men and women are wired differently.
We are wired differently. It's why we're men and women. But so a part of me agrees with him in that thinking back on my experiences when, like in the past and whatnot, a lot of my friendships with men, I found out at some point that they were interested romantically in me, even though we were friends, but we didn't take it we didn't ever do anything.
Because you never gave the okay.
But Brian, I've also had guy friends who were just guy friends. And it's not because they were gay,
No.
where they say, oh, your
But-
best friend's a gay man.
Mhm.
I guarantee you did not know his intention. Take it from a man.
Mhm.
I guarantee you did not know his underlying intentions.
So, Brian, you and I could never be friends because you want me.
Right. I wouldn't even go there. I wouldn't even, why would I tease myself? Why would I get all dressed up, spend money, go to dinner, have drinks?
How about, but wait, that's called a date. That is different than being a friend.
No,
So what about-
if a man and a woman go out together, whether they drive together or not, they sit down, have dinner and drinks, that is a date.
Okay.
That is a date.
What if you guys
Just
are
because you don't go
coworkers, though?
together in the
That's
same
what I was just
time.
gonna say.
What
You're making me
about
think of a
coworkers?
scenario. So I recently
What
started.
hold
Oh,
on.
go ahead.
What did you say?
What if you're friends with your coworkers, though?
Coworkers. What if you're friends with your
Could
coworkers?
you not be friends with
Can
guy
that
coworkers?
does that male coworker want to be with you?
Yes.
The minute you go out for dinner and drink, it's a date. If a
But
group of you go
You're
out,
not in the shop.
if a group of you go out, okay, it's a group outing. But the minute a man and a woman go out together and start having drinks, don't matter if you can't